What's up, YouTube? Knight's Edge here again. Got a quick little review for you of a knife that was loaned to me by Mr. Eddie on Instagram. I'm going to have him linked down below in the description. It's at Mr. Eddie underscore 411 on Instagram. It's thanks to him that I can actually take a look at this knife, because Lord knows any other way I wouldn't be able to. It's a really nice premium knife. Before I get into it, this is the channel information. The channel you're watching is the Knight's Edge. Hit the like video if you like the content. It really helps the channel. Also subscribe. That helps the channel even more. And all my other information is going to be down in the description below. Instagram, TikTok, my email and TikTok, or not TikTok, email and Instagram DM. Probably the best two ways to contact me. Appreciate everybody that's already subscribed and watching already. You know, the rate that the channel's grown in the last few months I've been doing it, really been awesome. Can't say that enough. So anyway, now we got that out the way. This is from Mr. Eddie, the Heretic Manacore X, the Predator edition. Really cool out the front knife. Heretic knives started by Tony Marfione's son, Tony Marfione. I'll probably just say Marfione anytime I say it, just to let you know. Might be pronouncing it wrong. But his son started a knife company called Heretic. These are all USA made, really high quality production USA made knives. And this one in particular is really detailed. It's got the serial number, which is you got to translate it using the Predator alphabet, which I thought that was really cool. That tells you the serial number on it. That's kind of like the little countdown timer when the Predator is about to self-destruct. It's got the reticle and the handle, which engraved into the handle. That's pretty neat. And also comes, the Predator version also comes with this super heavy duty little lanyard with a lanyard bead with a Predator head on it. I'm not really too much into lanyards, but I thought that was really neat. You know, this is a pretty cool little piece, I think. Really super great action, everything. Go ahead and do size comparisons and specs, get all that out of the way first before I start rambling about this one. All right, so tape measure, probably gonna need that, right? Overall, if you go all the way to the tip of the blade to the end of the handle, let me flip it over. It does come with a little glass breaker too. That lanyard kind of hides that a little bit, but just to show y'all so I don't forget, it's not as prevalent as the old Microtech ones, which is good. So right at 9 1/8 overall length, which is a massive knife. It's extremely large, full-size switchblade there. OTF switchblade, whatever. So from the tip of the blade to where it begins, where it comes out of the handle at, you're looking right at 3 3/4. Cutting edge, you're looking right at 3 5/8 on that. And you do have two cutting edges, right? You got the Tanto, so you got that and that, technically. So that's the full-on measurements of it there. Get the calibers out. Go ahead and do it. The thickest part on this one, it swedges down, and so the thickest part, kind of don't even want to touch it with the calipers because this thing's so nice. 126 thousandths, and down at the sliciest part of the edge, the apex of the edge, I guess. Come on. Goes, I'm going to go with 32 thousandths right there. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with, because I don't really want to press them hard on there, and also it's hard to get all the way up on the very apex of the edge where it disappears at, but where the edge begins, right around 32 thousandths. Not incredibly slicey at all. Under 1/2 inch. Good handle width. Not, you know, it's not thin. It doesn't cut into your hand. It's not too bulky or big. I think it's pretty much just right as far as that goes. Massive OTF. So let's check on OTF is out the front knife too. By the way, if I say OTF, that's what I'm talking about, is an out the front automatic knife. For anybody watching that doesn't know that, I didn't know that before I got into knives, so it's not like, you know, something I would say is common knowledge or whatever. But anyway, we'll do we'll do some regular knives first. Let's see, get out the paramilitary 2. Right, so that's it. Next, the paramilitary 2, Spyderco pair 3, larger than both, more cutting edge than both. Out the Ontario Rat number 1, model 1, Rat 2, larger than both of those. And Demco knives or cold steel knives 8010. All right, longer than the 8010, less broad but more cutting edge, I'd say, than the 8010. Demco 8020.5, way larger than that, and a couple OTFs. These are the only 2 that I have. I've got Mr. Eddie actually did a trade with me recently for that. That is the Direct Delta from Mr. Eddie. All right, so pretty close to the same size as the Direct Delta. And that is the Microtech Ultratech. That's my Ultratech. So definitely larger than the Ultratech. More broad, you know, a little bit longer, more broad for sure. I'd say longer by a matter of, well, cutting edge is definitely more than the Ultratech. Ultratech, you know, side fire just like the just like the Manacore is, but up next to the Ultratech, you can definitely see a huge size difference between the 2, right? So, but pretty close to the Direct Delta, right? And broadness, I think the Manacore X has got it beat a little bit. But pretty dang close. I'd say the Manacore X is a little bit larger than the Direct Delta, but not by too much. Definitely feels, I don't know. I just did a review on the Direct Delta where I weighed it, and I'll probably re-weigh it right now, but I'm going to get the scale out. Go ahead and weigh this thing. All right. Without the lanyard, put this on the side. Weight of the Manacore X, 5 ounces. .8 ounces. 4.9. 4.9. We're going to say 4.9 because I got that twice. All right. Direct Delta, 4.4. 4.4 on the Direct Delta. So about an, I don't know, half an ounce. About a half an ounce heavier, you know. Not too much, not extraordinarily heavier than the Direct Delta. Go ahead and get out the blue jeans here. Carry profile on it with the pocket clip. The way that this carries, actually not as hard as I'm making it look to get in the jeans there. But I like the way it carries. I like the clip more than the Microtech clip. You know, I like the way the Microtech clip looks a little more. You know, with that kind of apocalyptic, they call it, or stonewash, whatever finish. You know, but also with the Manacore, it carries deeper and doesn't have a huge ass glass breaker sticking out. See, this part of the handle, it doesn't really carry deeper, I guess. When you look at it, it's just a glass breaker on the Microtech, right? Put that in there. That one is a little harder to get in and out. So you're looking at less sticking out. If you had a glass breaker on the direct delta, like you got right here on the Manacore X, you know, that breaks glass just fine, I'm sure, then you wouldn't have hardly anything sticking out on the Microtech, which would be, you know, really nice. But as it sits, the old school Microtechs anyway, all the way up until this year, they started redoing some of their stuff. But that's how it carries right now, or that's the glass breaker right now anyway. Hardware on this, another awesome thing, you know, if you want to compare it to a lot of Microtechs, is their hardware proprietary, so you're going to need the little tool to take that apart. The Manticore X, I'm pretty sure this is T8 on the pocket clip. Yeah, so you got 1, 2, 3 body screws there and 2 clip screws. Get the lint off of this thing. And 2 pocket clip screws, right? And then these 2 screws on the other side, which are also T8. So T8 all the way around. That's awesome. You know, you can take it, not only can you take it apart, but it's minimal hardware for an OTF. And it's let me show that to you just to make sure. Yeah, minimal hardware, and it's all T8. That's great. The action on this thing, I love it. It is awesome. It fires out powerful, super powerful, fires out great. I'd say compared to the direct delta, fires out a little bit more powerful than the direct delta. Now, I'm not sure about the Scarab and the Microtech Combat Troodon and others. I've just tried the direct delta and the Ultratech, the only ones I really have experience with as far as firing power. But this thing fires out great. No worries there at all, you know. And I've went back and forth with it several times. No issues. It's never jammed. It's never not fired. It's awesome. Really smooth too, I have to say. You know, I like the switch a little bit better than the Ultratech. Actually, Ultratech just got caught up there. I like the switch a little bit better than the Ultratech. It's more wide for sure than the Ultratech, which gives you a little extra amount of comfort, you know, more space to push against. And it's smoother when you fire it. It's hard to describe, but it's a lot smoother than the Ultratech to fire. Now the direct delta and the direct have the switch on the front, so kind of not as comparable, you know, I'd say, but that switch is definitely wider than the switch on the Ultratech. Also larger knives too, you know, so you got to take that into account. But as far as firing action, it's super powerful, super reliable, and super smooth. It feels really nice firing it, you know. A lot of the aesthetics are the same, but a lot of the aesthetics of a lot of out the front knives are, you know, essentially the same overall. You know, you don't have a whole lot of options with out the front knives as far as bodies and stuff like that. Benchmade has one. I think it's the Shootout. It looks a little bit more like a traditional folder, you know, but as far as body style, that's pretty much what you're getting. You know, there are subtle differences. The contouring's really nice. Seems like there's a little, maybe not. It just, to me, it seems a little more comfortable for some reason than the direct. You know, not incredibly. I mean, this is, to me, is really comfortable, but this thing just seems a little bit more comfortable. Now, this model is the one, you know, like I said, it comes with the Predator lanyard bead on it. Comes with a DLC coated MagnaCut blade with minimal billboarding. The only billboarding is one of the things that makes the knife itself really cool, is the Predator countdown, which is your actual serial number. But this thing is just one of the best, most badass looking automatic knives I've ever seen. Definitely the smoothest I've ever handled. Now, the rattle, can't really hear it. Doesn't really rattle while it's open. Can kind of, just want to grab it down here so I make sure not to stretch that lanyard out. You can kind of hear rattle a little bit down towards the bottom. Now, any OTF you got, you're going to hear that. You know, a little bit of rattle, a little bit of play, right? Blade play, got a little bit of blade play in it, just like almost any OTF, except for that new one from Microtech, except for $1,000 Hawk deadlock, from what I hear. But every OTF knife you got, gonna have a little bit of blade play. Some have a lot, some have a little, but that's pretty much standard for an out the front knife. Not a lot, not an annoying amount or anything like that. You know, not enough to really make that much of a difference, you know, in performance or anything like that at all. But yeah, so this version of it, this Predatored out, I guess I'll call it a version of this thing, is $700. Now that's very expensive, very nice knife. I didn't even do a cut test with it because I didn't want to scratch it or you know, do anything like that with it. But looking on Blade HQ's website for a standard green handle Magna Cut Tanto Manacore X with the Magna Cut blade, DLC coated, just like this one is, DLC coating on it, they're out of stock right now, but they're $371. So fairly close, and you know, as far as the price point goes, to the Direct Delta right now, as of the time I'm posting this video. Now that's not available, but there are other versions available. Now when I link it in the description, I'm gonna have this version linked in the description for this knife, so you can kind of look on Blade HQ's website also, and DLT, a lot of other, you know, good knife websites out there that carry this one too. But this is American made, wonderful, great OTF. I love the action on it. Would love to, absolutely would love to own one day. And anyway, that's pretty much it, y'all. Shout out to Mr. Eddie. Mr. Eddie _411 on Instagram. I'll have him linked down below too. Got myself linked down below. Contact info, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff, email. Appreciate you guys watching. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe if you want more content. And until the next one, I hope you guys have a good day.